What was it like being around DMX?
DMX was dangerous, man.
Straight up like that. Whoever don't like it, bring it, nigga. Bring it. I don't. Bring it. Bring it.
In Los Angeles, street crews like the LA Crips have long pushed rappers to check in when they come to town, a move that's led to plenty of tense showdowns. But when they tried that with DMX, they quickly learned he wasn't the one to mess with. His reputation wasn't just talk, it was real danger.
And nobody in this nigga crew running behind him to stop this nigga. So I'm like, whoever this nigga is, he official. They ain't want no smoke with this nigga.
This is DMX we're talking about, the man who lived fast, wild, and had more run-ins with the law than anyone could count. Prison wasn't a punishment for him anymore. It was practically a second home.
But what was it like being around DMX?
DMX was dangerous, man. When you around him, he's like, you don't know what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Very unpredictable.
The whole checking in thing has been around for years now. Street figures have made it a habit to press rappers for money or respect just for visiting their city, calling it a form of security. Big U, known as one of the main forces behind this so-called system, even bragged about it before landing in prison himself. He once said that it's mandatory for rappers to check in when stepping into certain territories, like it's some kind of rule book they all gotta follow.
We in LA, when I go to Chicago, I respect Chicago wholeheartedly. I check in. When I go to Atlanta, I check in. And I don't think nobody is safe. I know dudes right now from LA who are actual gang members who have been robbed for their jewelry.
He even compared it to restricted airspace, saying it's like flying through military zones. You can't just pass through without clearance.
The United States of America and all these countries have what is called airspace. If you invade their airspace with a plane, they consider that an act of war. You can choose not to, and it's gonna be a problem. If dudes come and you move it in a certain way, if you choose not to check in, suffer the consequences.
But a lot of people call that logic crazy because it mostly targets black rappers and celebrities. Many see it as gatekeeping their own culture, which makes it even wilder. But if there's one artist who couldn't be intimidated into checking in, it was DMX. Trying to press him was a bold mistake. DMX was raw energy, untamed, and had zero fear in his bones. Fat Joe once told a wild story about how he, DMX, and Big Pun stopped at a gas station after his show, and out of nowhere, DMX saw a guy walk in wearing a flashy chain. Without hesitation, DMX straight up snatched it right there on the spot. That's how real he was, unpredictable and unfiltered.
At a show, me, him, and Big Pun in Brooklyn, and after the show, we stopped at the gas station. Meanwhile, the whole crowd was just going, stop, shut him down, open up, chop. Oh, like DMX was crazy.
Then comes Aries Spears' story, and it's just as wild. Aries said he was at an event pushing his comedy CD, asking stars to support it, including DMX. But DMX didn't find his impressions funny at all.
And at this time, I had my comedy CD, and I did a bunch of skits where I did prank phone calls as rappers. And I saw Busta Rhymes, I saw this person, that person. So I put him on camera saying, yo, you gotta cop my man Aries Spears shit, blah, 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 blah. All good. I see DMX and yo, X, he goes, Doug, I need to holler at you.
He told Aries they needed to talk, leading him into a locker room. Next thing you know, about 30 guys follow in, forming a tight circle around him, while a bodyguard locks the door and blocks the exit. The tension in that room must have been off the charts.
We go into the locker room, and there's one entrance in and one entrance out. So me and him go in there, and about 27 niggas follow suit, and they make a circle around us. So it's just me and X in the middle. And then the bodyguard comes in and then slams the door where you could leave and stands in front of it.
DMX started grilling Aries about those impressions, demanding to know what he thought was so funny. Aries tried to smooth things over, saying it was all just comedy, nothing personal, no shade intended.
When he was like, Dog, I heard you, my voice, huh? Heard you doing some things with my voice. It was good. I said, oh, no, it's all complimentary, you know, ain't nothing crazy. I'm not disrespecting you or nothing like that.
Trying to switch gears, Aries handed DMX a copy of his CD, like he'd done with other celebs, hoping to ease the tension. But DMX just stared at him and said, come to my hotel later, let me hear it. If it's good, cool. If it's not, then he let out that famous growl that sent chills through everyone around him.
But like everybody else, can I get you on camera endorsing my shit? He was like, dog, I tell you what, come to my hotel tomorrow, let me hear it. If it's good, yeah. If it's not,
According to Aries, what really freaked him out was what DMX did next. He pulled a razor blade straight from under his tongue.
And what really fucked me up was after he went, then this nigga pulled a razor blade out from under his tongue.
Oh.
I've been black my whole life. I'm not that black. the gift that you have to be able to put a razor blade in your mouth, talk, move your mouth, your tongue, and you don't cut yourself.
After that, Aries didn't think twice about skipping that hotel visit.
And when he between the razor blade and the come back tomorrow, I never saw that.
You never went to that hotel room. Nah.
And Jay Farrow, he's got his own wild DMX story too. He said they were performing on stage together, energy sky high, DMX throwing his hands in the air, barking like only he could, and out of nowhere, he accidentally clocked Jay right in the face mid-performance.
So we on stage, right? And we doing Party Up and we killing it, you know what I'm saying? DMX accidentally snuffs me. That's some real shit. I was like, wow, this nigga's knuckles is hard as a motherfucker.
DMX accidentally.
He accidentally snuffed me.
How?
Is he just
going
No,
out?
look.
Like,
1, 2, now. He hit me outside. Oh, shit. I was like, God dang.
Imagine being punched by DMX on stage in front of everyone. That's the kind of intensity he brought everywhere he went. But nothing compares to the Miami story, the one that had rappers literally running for their lives. Memphis Bleek recalled chilling on the beach with Bad Boy Records when Mace pulled up on a scooter. The second DMX spotted him, he went into full chase mode, sprinting after Mace across the sand. Bleek, seeing DMX for the first time, couldn't believe what he was witnessing. It was pure chaos.
Get back here. Wait till I catch you, nigga. So you know me, I'm in the back seat like, what happened between him and Mace? Like, who is this nigga? And nobody in this nigga crew running behind him to stop this nigga. So I'm like, whoever this nigga is, he official. They ain't want no smoke with this nigga.
Then there was the tension between DMX and Kurupt, a clash that felt personal and dangerous. DMX didn't care who you were or what crew you repped, and he definitely didn't bow to gang ties. Kurupt, a respected rapper and member of the Crips, was managed by Big U, one of the most feared figures in the rolling 60s.
Not even a rebirth. He's finna give you back what he always been. A beast on the mic with the vocals that can't nobody touch. He gonna make you go get the dictionary to understand every word he just spit too.
But that meant nothing to X. Their beef spiraled so far out of control that Kurupt eventually became the target of a hit. 2 of his bodyguards were killed, and Kurupt barely made it out alive. Rumors started spreading fast that DMX might have had something to do with it, and given his wild rep, plenty of people believed it. To understand how things got that deep, you gotta rewind to the early 1990s, when DMX was already the underground king of New York's rap scene. Meanwhile, Kurupt was still grinding his way up the West Coast circuit. Back in 1992, at just 19 years old, Kurupt and his close friend Daz Dillinger signed to Death Row Records, setting the stage for one of hip-hop's most intense coast-to-coast rivalries. Kurupt and Daz came together to form the Dog Pound, Kurupt repping the Rolling 60s Crips and Daz holding it down for the Rolling 20s Crips out of Long Beach, California. Before long, the duo's movement grew into a bigger family known as the Dog Pound Gangsta Clique, packed with legends like Snoop Dogg, Nate Dogg, and RBX, a straight-up powerhouse of West Coast talent. Their rise started heavy when they showed up on Dr. Dre's 1992 classic, The Chronic. Those appearances were fire, setting the tone for that whole G-Funk era. Then in 1993, they went even harder, helping shape the sound of Snoop Dogg's debut album, Doggy Style. Kurupt and Daz dropped verses and skits all through that project, locking themselves in as one of Death Row's secret weapons. By 1994, the Dog Pound was ready to claim the spotlight for themselves. They kicked things off with the single, What Would You Do?, a track so bold it earned them a Grammy nomination in 1996 for Best Rap Performance by a Duo.
Have you ever heard of a slaughter? I ought to start dipping, sipping on that ST gets me to tripping.
Then, on October 31st, 1995, Halloween night, they dropped their debut album, Dog Food. It debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200. pushing over 270,000 copies in just the first week. The success of that record proved they weren't just riding on Death Row's wave, they were the wave. By 1996, things were heating up for Kurupt beyond the mic, too. He started dating Brooklyn rapper Foxy Brown, and by 97, they were officially engaged. It looked like hip-hop's next power couple was forming. But while love was in the air for Kurupt, trouble was brewing on the other side of the country. Over on the East Coast, DMX was rising fast, like a storm no one saw coming. After signing with Def Jam, he dropped Get At Me Dog in February 1998, and that track exploded. It hit number 39 on the Billboard charts and showed the world that X wasn't just another rapper. He was a beast ready to take over the game.
Don't know by now, then you slip. I'm on some bullshit that's got me jacking niggas flipping. Let my man in them stay pretty.
That same year, DMX dropped his debut album, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, which instantly became another classic. But one track in particular, Bring Your Whole Crew, had fans talking non-stop. In that song, DMX spit some cold-blooded rhymes about being out for blood, and even mentioned the Crips being at war, which everyone took as a direct jab at Kurupt, since he was famously tied to the Crips. The lyrics got darker, with X asking how much trash someone could talk with his lips on the floor, calling someone a B, and throwing shade about a fake pit. Fans were quick to connect the dots. The fake pit line seemed like a slick reference to the Dog Pound and a shot at Kurupt himself, comparing him to a knockoff pit bull.
DMX kept the energy wild on that track, rapping about choking someone out and taking it to deadly levels. Fans couldn't help but believe it was a warning, a message to Kurupt to chill out before things got real ugly. Nothing was ever confirmed, but the timing made it way too hard to ignore. It felt personal. By early 1999, the situation hit a boiling point. Word got back to Kurupt that DMX had been hanging out with Foxy behind his back, and that's when things got serious. On January 26, 1999, Foxy dropped her album, China Doll, and one track in particular made everyone's jaw drop, Dog and a Fox featuring DMX. That collab didn't just confirm that Foxy and X were spending time together.
I don't like Eve. I don't like her. It has nothing to do with music. It's something that she did that was very disrespectful.
It straight up rubbed salt in Kurupt's wounds. According to Kurupt, that song's whole concept was originally supposed to be a duet between him and Foxy. So when she swapped him out for DMX instead, it felt like the ultimate betrayal.
So was you and X issue actually over her?
Totally.
Oh, so X was messing with her when y'all was together?
Totally. Then she took one of my concepts. We was gonna make a record called The Dog and the Fox.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then she went and did it with Earl.
The streets were buzzing. This wasn't just music beef anymore. It was personal. As Dog and the Fox hit the airwaves, Kurupt was in the middle of working on his second album, and you could feel the tension leaking into his music. The back and forth between him and DMX was about to explode into something much bigger than either of them expected. Kurupt came back swinging with his second album, Thought Streets is a Mother, and he wasn't holding anything back. He decided to face the drama straight up, dropping a brutal diss record called Calling Out Names that took aim at several big names, including DMX, 50 Cent, and Ja Rule. The track leaked months before the album's release, and the streets went wild. It was pure controversy from the first bar. Right out the gate, Kurupt went straight for DMX's neck. He called him out with raw language, saying the only X he respects is Exhibit or RBX. Then he accused DMX of trying to steal his girl, Foxy Brown, but coldly added that DMX could keep her, calling both of them industry-made and claiming they only cared about the money. Kurupt didn't just diss, he threatened, warning DMX that if he ever set foot on the West Coast, he'd get stripped down and beaten up over the whole situation. He even bragged about moving on with a new woman, throwing more shade at Foxy by calling her old news. The disrespect was loud and intentional. By the second verse, Kurupt switched targets and started firing shots at the entire Rough Riders crew. He made it crystal clear that he had no love for anyone from that camp except Eve, the only person he spared in his rhymes. That line alone made Foxy's earlier claim sound true, that Eve had been the one who told Kurupt about her and DMX in the first place. Then Kurupt turned up the heat even more, shouting out, "Forget Rough Riders, forget The Firm, forget Belly." The Firm, of course, was Foxy's rap group led by Nas, while Belly was the 1998 film starring both DMX and Nas. Kurupt's shots were direct, brutal, and personal, clearly aimed at DMX and Foxy. But Nas got caught in the crossfire after he publicly spoke on their rumored fling in an XXL interview, saying Foxy should have been with a real New York dude. That comment didn't sit right with Kurupt, and he made sure Nas felt the heat too. To top it off, Kurupt ended calling out names by clowning DMX's iconic "Get at me, dog" line, mimicking his rough delivery and tossing it back in his face with full sarcasm. In some early leaked versions of the song, Kurupt even opened the track by mocking DMX right from the start, setting the tone for what would become one of the most talked about diss tracks of the late 1990s. But the drama didn't stop there. It got darker. Not long after dropping Calling Out Names, real-life danger crept in. On October 17, 1999, around 11:40 p.m., Kurupt was inside Echo Sound Studios in Los Angeles, working late on his album. The tension between him and DMX's camp was already thick, and the streets were buzzing about what might happen next. What went down that night would take the whole East Coast-West Coast rivalry to another level. This time, it wasn't just words on the track anymore. While Kurupt was finishing Thought Streets as a mother, chaos broke out in real life. A shooting erupted at Echo Sound Studios in Los Angeles. The gunfire left his bodyguard, Dwayne Dupree, dead after being hit multiple times in the chest, and two other rappers, Willa Givens and Javon Jones, were wounded, one shot in the calf, the other in the foot. The streets lit up with talk the moment news broke. Because of the timing and Kurupt's recent diss track aimed at DMX, rumors immediately started flying that X might have had something to do with it. People were quick to make that connection, especially since the beef between them gotten so heated. But DMX's team jumped on the situation fast. His spokesperson came forward and made it clear he had nothing to do with the shooting, saying DMX is in Miami recording his album. It's unfortunate that this act of violence happened. DMX knows nothing about it. I just got off the phone with him. DMX himself denied every rumor, insisting he had zero involvement.
Kurupt, he killed two of his bodyguards. They're trying to kill him. Killed two of his bodyguards. So they blamed it on me because he made a song about me. Even though nobody really heard the song. And, you know, being that he made a song about me, I had to be the one doing it. I'm not pissed off at a whack.
Still, because of his fierce reputation and unpredictable energy, the whispers didn't die down completely. The streets loved drama, and with DMX's name already tied to controversy, people couldn't stop speculating. Then, just a month later, November 16, 1999, Kurupt officially dropped Thought Streets as a mother. As expected, Calling Out Names made the final cut, with all the savage disses towards DMX included. But Kurupt wasn't done throwing shade. On another track, Who Ride With Us, he took things even further. At the end of the song, there's a skit where he's flipping through fake radio stations, and one of them plays a parody of DMX with someone mocking his rough voice and barking ad-libs. It was pure trolling. Kurupt was doubling down on the disrespect. But DMX wasn't the type to let things slide. Not ever. Just a month later, December 21st, 1999, he clapped back hard with his third album, and then there was X. The project exploded in popularity and included one of his biggest hits ever, Party Up, Up in Here. On the surface, it sounded like a club anthem, but fans quickly caught on. That track had venom in it. Many believe it was a direct shot at Kurupt and his crew. From the opening line, "Y'all gonna make me lose my mind, up in here, DMX made it sound like a warning. Throughout the track, he calls out cowards, mocks fake rappers, and throws a jab saying people could get done dumb quick. Some listeners thought that line eerily referenced the Echo Sound shooting, especially with the lyrics about a gun clicking and fights breaking out over some dumb stuff.
Oh, you made up in the jail before? Suck my dick and all the motherfuckers you run with. Get done with, dumb quick, they go to gun click. Now I'm one shit, all over some dumb shit. Ain't that some shit?
The second verse hit even deeper. DMX started calling rappers out as characters and said they weren't even good actors. A clear insult many saw as aimed straight at Kurupt. He went on to call someone whack and twisted, before dragging personal business into it, firing off a line that referenced Foxy Brown in a cruel way. The shots were loud, the timing was sharp, and everyone knew exactly who he was talking about, even if DMX didn't say it outright. By the end of 1999, what started as a rumor had turned into one of hip-hop's most personal and dangerous beefs, with real lives lost, reputation scarred, and both coasts watching every move like it was a movie that just kept getting darker. DMX didn't just stop at slick jabs, he turned up the heat even more in Party Up, Up in Here. In the track, he vents about men fighting over women who don't belong to him. Another clear shot at Kurupt and the messy Foxy Brown situation. But by the third verse, the energy goes from frustration to full-on fury. DMX spits, "You keep running your mouth, you gon' blow your lung out," hinting that someone might go missing if they kept testing them. Those lines set the streets on fire with speculation. People swore he was referencing the Echo Sound studio shooting.
I'ma blow his lung out. Listen, your ass is about to be missing. You know who gon' find you? Some old man fishing.
What made Party Up such a savage response wasn't just the raw lyrics, it was how massive the song became. It was everywhere, blasting in clubs and tearing up the radio and showing up in movies all over the world. DMX turned a diss into a global anthem. For Kurupt, hearing his name mocked on one of the biggest tracks in the world must have stung bad. It was a master move by DMX, proving that sometimes the loudest victory doesn't come from dropping more diss tracks, it comes from dropping a hit that dominates the entire planet. Fast forward to January 17th, 2000. DMX was at the American Music Awards at the Shrine Auditorium in Los Angeles. During a press room Q&A, reporters couldn't resist bringing up the tension between them. When asked about it, DMX surprised everyone by saying there was no beef between them.
Two questions. How are you dealing with the conflict with Kurupt?
All right. First of all, there is no conflict with Kurupt. You know, so I'm not dealing with anything.
That statement shocked fans, especially since Party Up sounded like it was built on disses aimed at Kurupt. So why the sudden calm tone? Some believed it was DMX's way of brushing Kurupt off, like he didn't even see him as worth his time anymore. Others thought it was a calculated move to cool down the situation and distract people from the ongoing rumors tying him to the Echo Studio shooting. Whatever his motive, it worked. X took the high ground in public while still winning the war through his success. Kurupt, for his part, stayed mostly silent during that time. Even though Party Up was everywhere, from nightclubs to movie soundtracks, he didn't respond with another diss track. Instead, he switched gears and focused on his craft. On July 17, 2001, he dropped Space Boogie, Smoke Odyssey, and on the track Just Don't Give a Fool, Kurupt finally addressed the situation. In it, he made it clear that he was ready to squash the beef with DMX and move on, showing growth and maturity after years of back-and-forth chaos. But the story didn't end there. On August 23, 2005, Kurupt dropped another album, Against the Grain, and one song, Speak On It, brought a flicker of the old rivalry back to life. It wasn't full-blown aggression like before, but it carried a bit of sting. In the track, Kurupt talked about people comparing rappers like 50 Cent, Ja Rule, and DMX to Tupac, and he shut those comparisons down hard. He made it clear there would never be another Tupac. Then, just to make sure no one misunderstood, he name-dropped DMX directly, saying he wasn't the new Pac either. That line reopened some old wounds, but this time the drama didn't go any further. After that, the feud slowly faded away. Both men went their separate ways, focused on music, life, and legacy. The once explosive rivalry that started with rumors and diss tracks eventually cooled into mutual respect.
Then, nearly 2 decades later, in 2017, something nobody expected happened. Kurupt and DMX ran into each other at an airport. According to Kurupt, the moment wasn't tense at all. They greeted each other with respect, no bitterness, no shade. Just two veterans who had outgrown the beef. They talked, laughed, and finally buried the hatchet for good. After years of tension, diss tracks, and street rumors, the DMX versus Kurupt feud came full circle, ending with peace instead of pain. It's one of those rare hip-hop stories that started with chaos, but ended with real closure. If you made it this far, you know this story was wild. So don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment below. What do you think? Was DMX's Party Up the ultimate comeback, or did Kurupt hold his own? Let's talk about it.